Have you ever been asked to take a breathalyzer at your DUI sentencing? Standing in that courtroom, wearing my only professional outfit, I watched Judge Kathleen Reeves shuffle through my case file. 6 months had passed since the arrest. 6 months of AA meetings, court-mandated therapy, and working doubles at the nursing home to pay legal fees. My lawyer had said this would be straightforward. Plead guilty, show remorse, accept whatever punishment they gave me. What happened next wasn't in any legal textbook. Ms. Torres, the judge said, not looking up from her papers, before we proceed with sentencing, I'd like you to take a breathalyzer test. My lawyer actually laughed, thinking it was a joke. The bailiff wasn't laughing. He was already pulling out the device from a drawer like this was routine. My stomach turned to ice. Your Honor, my lawyer stammered, my client hasn't consumed alcohol in 6 months. This is highly irregular. Your client's probation report shows 3 missed check-ins, Judge Reeves said, finally making eye contact. Her last one was 4 days ago. Humor me. Here's the thing nobody tells you about getting sober. Sometimes you fail. Sometimes you fail repeatedly. 4 days ago, I'd found out my ex-husband was getting remarried to my former best friend, the one who'd been so supportive during my downward spiral, who'd held my hair back when I was sick, who'd promised to help me get better. Turns out she'd been helping herself to my husband while I was in rehab. I bought a bottle of wine, sat in my car outside the liquor store for an hour, just holding it, finally opened it, took 1 sip, then poured the rest out in the parking lot. But 1 sip after 6 months of sobriety hits different. I'd been buzzed for 20 minutes off that single mouthful, crying and laughing at how pathetic I'd become. That was 4 days ago. No alcohol since. But the judge was staring at me with eyes that had seen every excuse, every lie, every desperate attempt at manipulation. She knew something. Someone had seen me with that bottle, reported it. Small town gossip traveled faster than light. I'll take the test, I said quietly. My lawyer grabbed my arm. You don't have to do this. It's not legal protocol. It's fine, I said, though my hands were shaking. The bailiff approached with a device. The courtroom was silent except for the scratching of the court reporter's keys. I could feel everyone watching. The prosecutor who'd pushed for jail time, the victim impact coordinator, the other defendants waiting their turn. My AA sponsor sat in the back row. She'd driven me here, believed I was still clean. I blew into the device. The longest 3 seconds of my life waiting for those numbers to appear. The bailiff looked at the reading, then showed it to the judge. 0.00. Judge Reeves leaned back in her chair. Interesting. Now tell me about 4 days ago, Ms. Torres. My throat closed up. How did she know? I don't understand. My nephew works at Miller's Liquor, she said. He called me. Described a woman who looked exactly like you buying a bottle of Merlot, sitting in the parking lot for an hour, then pouring it out. He was concerned. Thought maybe you were having a breakdown. Tears started falling before I could stop them. I took 1 sip, I admitted. Just one, then I threw the rest away. The prosecutor jumped up. Your Honor, this is admission of violating probation. We request immediate custody. Sit down, Judge Reeves snapped. Ms. Torres, why 1 sip? I told her everything. About Melanie and Robert, about finding their wedding announcement on Facebook, about how she'd been wearing the necklace I'd given her for her 30th birthday in their engagement photos, about sitting in that parking lot, wanting to disappear, wanting to feel nothing, then realizing after 1 sip that numbness wasn't worth losing everything I'd rebuilt. You could have finished that bottle, the judge said. Nobody would have known except you. I would have known, I said. My kids would have known when I showed up to visitation smelling like wine. My sponsor would have known when I couldn't look her in the eye. I would have known when I had to reset my sobriety date, start over from day 1. Judge Reeves turned to my sponsor. Ms. Yates, you've been with the defendant through her recovery? Janice stood up. Yes, Your Honor. She's been to every meeting, worked all 12 steps. That woman 4 days ago, buying that bottle, 6 months ago, she would have downed it in the parking lot, then driven to buy 3 more. The court recognizes that recovery isn't linear, Judge Reeves said, turning back to me. You stood at the edge of relapse and chose to step back. That takes more strength than never approaching the edge at all. She looked at the prosecutor. The state has requested 90 days incarceration. I'm denying that request. Ms. Torres, I'm sentencing you to 1 year additional probation with monthly check-ins. You'll continue AA and therapy, but I'm also adding something else. My heart sank. Community service probably, or house arrest. You'll speak at DUI awareness programs. Tell them about that parking lot. Tell them about choosing to pour it out. Tell them recovery means failing better each time until you stop failing. Your Honor, the prosecutor protested. She admitted to consuming alcohol while on probation. She admitted to being human. Judge Reeves shot back. 1 sip in 6 months after years of daily drinking? That's not relapse. That's recovery in progress. She banged her gavel. Ms. Torres, the breathalyzer wasn't about catching you drinking today. It was about showing this court you're honest enough to admit your struggles even when you're clean. Sobriety isn't perfection. It's progress. Case closed. Walking out of that courtroom, Janice hugged me tight. You could have lied about that sip. Then I'd be lying to myself, I said. That's how it starts again. Last month, I spoke at my first DUI awareness class. Told a room full of angry, resentful people forced to be there about my parking lot moment. One woman raised her hand after. Said she'd bought a bottle that morning but hadn't opened it yet. She asked if 1 sip really mattered if you stopped. Every sip matters, I told her. But what matters more is what you do after. She threw the bottle away in the classroom trash can. The instructor said it was the first time in 10 years someone had done that. Small victories, measured in sips not taken. Bottles thrown away. Truth told in courtrooms when lies would have been easier.